Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. I got sent a box yesterday. The delivery guy just left it behind the bin and left a ticket on the doorstep, but there we go. So, and inside there was a scope, and this is the Pearl Manul M6, 2.5 to 15 by 50. Now, most people will have heard maybe of Pearl by now. I did a review on some of the thermal kit a while ago, but they've also got an line of daylight optics, and on here we've got 2.5 to 1550, aluminium alloy, waterproof, usual stuff, zero reset. We'll see what that's about. And that's usually to do with floating your dials and resetting them back to the show zero. It's all fairly common or garden stuff. Quarter MOA adjustments on it. Usual blurb kind of stuff on boxes, but let's get it out, see what it does. Other interesting stuff though is we've got 6 brightness levels on the reticle, and it's got rated 2 meter waterproof for 2 hours, which is a little bit normal, more than normal. Right. What's in the box? Well, here's the scope. Anything else exciting in the box? Looks like there's a key there for undoing the caps. Lens cleaning cloth. There's a throw lever there. Oh, we've got a battery for the illumination system and a sticker. So I'll put what I don't need to one side and keep out what I do need. So throw levers are very common now. And they're quite good because you can use them if you want to, don't use them if you don't. That one screws in there, but there is actually also supplied, I can see here, they do also give you a blanking screw, so you can put just a blanking screw if you want. Now I can't see any kind of instruction manual in there, so we'll have to bypass that one, but usually these things are fairly easy to work out and there'll be some stuff online, I'm sure. Now this key here looks like it's going to be used for undoing the cap there, so we can put the illumination battery in, which would appear to be the fairly standard CR2032. Pop that in there, stick that back on there, and looks like we're going to be about good to go. This that's not plastic, that's actually aluminium, and it says on here lens cover. So quite what that's referring to, I'm not sure. Turret. There's obviously some tools integrated into that. We'll maybe discover what those are for as we get on with it. So main features, it comes with lens caps. These are aluminium lens caps. Looks like you can turn them, put them in the position where you want them, front and rear. That one's still loose by the looks of it, so I'll probably tighten that one up when I'm ready to start setting it up. Now the dials adjustment on this, well, let's start. It's a 30mm tube, 2.5 to 15 by 50, 50mm front end. 2.5 to 15 is a great magnification range for hunting requirements, but it doesn't stop you getting some decent precision shots in as well. Looking at these, we've got, as it says, MOA turrets. The clicks are, as you know, yeah, the quarter MOA turrets on it. And also says 1 click equals quarter MOA. Up is anti-clockwise, down is clockwise. The clicks feel quite responsive. It's certainly very grippy. It doesn't seem prone to overrun or anything like that. There's a rubberized rim around there to make that easy to grip. And let's just have a little judge on the threads and see how easy that goes. Yeah, that looks good. That's threads on that look fine. Winch's dial looks the same. Left side we've got parallax. So parallax goes from 10 meters all the way out to infinity. So that means that this will be suitable for air rifles as well, because there's no point having a large amount of magnification if you can't parallax down to 0, because a lot of cheap scopes people buy for the first air rifle, like a 3 to 9 by 40 or something, well, you can only really use them at 3, 4, maybe 5 times, because otherwise they just go out of focus because they're not parallax adjustable. Right, let's just pop these caps off here and have a look at the reticle before I find some more of the details for you. So the reticle's got a nice floating centre dot on it. I'm just going to illuminate this. Put it all the way up to number 6. Yeah, we've got a nice floating centre dot in there. Nice thin crosshairs, larger external arms. Fast focus is at the back end here for the reticle, so that will give me a nice clear reticle picture. We've obviously got zoom on there. It's a rubberized collar with a wing on it, or you can, as I showed you, put the throw lever on that. All these have got the same rubberized texture on them, so they're easy to grip. Same on the parallax, which doesn't feel like there's much backlash in there. And you can easily grip that illumination dial. There's 6 settings and there's off positions between each one. Now when I just move that zoom lever, which is obviously manipulating the internal erector tube, there's like a helical lens assembly that moves up and down inside there. On low end scopes you can often sort of perceive that movement and hear it within. But that is smooth and silent, and it comes to a solid stop at either end of its travel. So clockwise all the way to 15, anti-clockwise down to 2.5. So that's the first sort of initial feel of it. Let's have a little see what it weighs. In grams it is 783 grams. I'll tell you for my American friends there, that is £1.11.6 ounces. Overall length, including those caps, depending on exactly how far you've got your diopter setting out, let's call it 375 millimeters. Now importantly, one thing I do like to quote on things is how much tube space you've got for actually mounting the scope. So in front of the saddle we've got about 50 millimeters. You've got to bear in mind there's a radius at either end of that, so you can't go all the way to the end. Yep, it's about 50 millimeters at the front, and to the rear about 50 millimeters again. Happy with that. Right, that is going on a Mauser M18 243. That's a well used gun of my own. It's reliable, it's accurate. I've shot a lot of stuff with that gun. Freya and Devick moderator for the front end. We've got tier 1 rings. These are 30mm Picatinny rings. I've got a Picatinny rail on that rifle, and these are medium height, so we'll be putting those on, and they've got the little level bubble in the back if that's something you need as well. And as for ammunition, well, this rifle has always liked Hornady 243 75 grain VMAX, which is a superb fox shooting cartridge. If I do decide to do some deer with it, I'll be probably popping up to a 95 grain ELD-X or something like that in a Precision Hunter. But that is that for now. So I'm going to get this mounted up. I'm going to go and take it shooting, get it zeroed, and check out the controls, see how well it tracks, make sure I'm happy with everything. Check out the eye relief and also the eye box on it, because there's no point having a scope that's got really critical eye relief, because you know you lose the scope picture through recoil as it pops backwards and forwards, and that eye box is kind of the amount that you can be within the eye relief. And of course when you're wanting to spot impact, especially if you're hunting and you need to see how an animal reacts to your bullet strike, especially on a lower recoil rifle, you can really see a lot. And then of course on a heavier recoil rifle, that scope's going to be moving more as well, and it's great if you can maintain that sight picture, especially when you're wound down a little bit to the lower magnification end of the scale. Gives you more field of view, allows you to keep up and track if your animal does, if it goes straight down or if it maybe bolts off, you can maybe get another shot. That's a huge factor in having a little bit more field of view, a little bit less magnification, a clear reticle, but also that forgiving eye box that allows you to maintain that position and maintain that visual image of the quarry. And that's not just from prone, it might be from standing, it might be from leaning on a gate post, it might be from a high seat, it could be any one of many positions. So let's get this mounted up and let's go shooting. Magnification is 2.5 to 15 times because it's a 6 times zoom ratio. Tube diameter is 30mm and the objective lens is 50mm too. The exit pupil runs from 11 to 3.3mm from low to high magnification. Eye relief is 100mm. Field of view from low to high magnification is 7.7 degrees to 1.3 degrees, which is equivalent to 13.5 to 2.3 meters at 100 meters. The reticle is in the second focal plane. Light transmission is rated at 92% in daylight and 88% at twilight. Rifle scope's got flip-up lens caps front and rear, and you've got adjustable diopter here at the back. Caps spin on and off easily if you require. That shows good manufacturing, great thread quality and good anodizing. The clicks are firm and easy to feel, and here as well. Slacken the screw off, take the dial off the top, and you can float the dials to go back to mark actual zero once your rifle is zeroed. The scope has a 6 times erect tube and it goes from 2.5 to 15 times magnification. The throw lever is removable and you can actually put a screw in there instead, which is supplied if you want to keep it a flush fitting. There is also a slightly rubberized wing there to make it easy to handle manually, and this is actually rubberized too for good grip overall. The scope features flip-up lens caps front and rear. These are aluminium and clip securely in place when not in use. The fast focus eyepiece has dioptric correction from +3.5 to -2 diopter to suit your eyesight perfectly. 50mm to the rear and in front of the saddle gives plenty of space to put your scope mounts on so you can set correct eye relief, which is 100mm. The anodizing and finishing quality of the scope tube is absolutely impeccable and I can't fault it at all. 50mm front end gives you a good bright daylight to dusk image, and you've also got a nice moderate magnification ratio to make sure you're not trying to overdo it too much. Parallax runs from 10 meters all the way out to infinity. There's no backlash and it's nice and easy to control with the rubberized segments on the dial here. Externally of that, you've got the 6-position illumination control, and there's an off position between each of the intensity settings. This gives you a nice floating red dot in the center of the reticle, makes it easy to aim in most light conditions. Removal of the end cap allows you to swap the CR2032 battery. Elevation and windage both offer 84 minutes of angle overall travel. Each click is quarter MOA, and there are 25 minutes of angle per complete rotation of each dial. All the markings are laser engraved and easy to read. There's great knurling offered to give you plenty of grip for fingertips or with gloves on. Overall length is 359mm and overall weight is 738 grams. The operating temperature is from -25 to +55 degrees centigrade, and recoil resistance is up to a 338 Lapua Magnum. Water resistance is rated at 2 meters for 2 hours. Well, I got out, I got the rifle zero with the scope on, no real problems at all. The Turrets are very easy to use. You've got lots of clicks, masses of elevation and windage travel, so there's no issue zeroing at all. No problem with the turret caps. The focus on the reticle, the fast focus, was incredibly good. I got a really nice sharp picture. My eyesight's not as good as it used to be, so I tend to wind these out a little bit more than I used to do. Back when I was younger, they'd be all the way in because my eyesight was great, but as you get the older, bad eyes, you do need to appreciate that dioptric correction. As you saw in the video, the turret caps come on and off so easily, and I do think that the external machining of these threads and the caps themselves on this Czech scope is very indicative of the internal manufacturing quality. And I have been to the Czech Republic and seen scopes being manufactured, and the standards held are very, very high. Now, I have actually zeroed these, but I'll show you how to do it again, because what some people call spinning the dials is essentially when you've actually zeroed your rifle scope, you just need to use the little tool that's supplied with it, and take the screw out the top, lift the cap off, and then just pop it back down at mark 0 so that you know exactly where you want to be when you're returning to 0 after you've dialed the scope a little bit. It's not really a dialing scope, but you've got a lot of elevation travel per turn, and for those sort of mid-range hunting shots without, you know, maybe 200-300 meters, you can easily just add a few clicks like that and know you're good for your 200-225 meter shots, etc. And that's extremely comfortable to use. Speaking of comfortable to use, I was impressed with the eye box, so to speak, because when your rifle is moving under recoil, you can keep it and make sure, and I was very happy in hindsight that I was keeping that image quality. And you'll see I got a few fast fire shots from different positions, from prone, seated, and also from standing up with the sticks. When I did get out with it at night, I was quite pleased with the image quality. It's got the 92% daylight transmission, but they also give you an 88% transmission for light at twilight, and I think that's fairly honest, because I did find it gave me a great picture. Now in daylight it was incredibly bright, fantastic. I liked the reticle, it was nice and crisp and sharp. It didn't have any additional factors anywhere blocking the image to obscure the bullet strike or any impact on animals and things like that. When I took it out on the evening, I saw a few rabbits, which I wasn't shooting with a 243. I did see a fox about 9:15, which was, you know, sunset sort of time. But I didn't shoot it because the actual shot itself wasn't a safe shot. And the roe deer I did see later on, although I did have VMAX bullets, I probably wouldn't have shot them anyway. The roe deer I saw later on was a doe as well, so it wasn't my night. But it was nice to be able to sit out and see 3 good quarry species out between sort of 100 and 130 meters, you know, in some cover as well, just coming out of some woodland, and I could spot them and see them through the scope just as well as using my binoculars or my thermal imager. So essentially, I'm extremely happy with it. You can see from the picture I took through the scope, pointing at the steel target, you do lose image quality when you're trying to place a camera behind a scope, so you can't judge that as the true capability of any rifle scope. It's the same as if you use something like a trigger cam planted on top. They never really give you a true representation, and unfortunately with the trigger cam, because of the prisms inside it and the fact you've got additional lens packages on that, you do lose a little bit of the image quality the scope's presenting you. So you do have to take my word on it a little bit for the fact that I really enjoyed using this scope. I didn't have any problems with it at all. I spend a lot of the time these days shooting night vision and thermal imaging, so to get out with not only a daylight tubed optic, but to get out with a good one, I was very pleased, and I think this offers extremely good value for money, because the contrast there, the image resolutions there, you can see your bullet holes easily on the targets, and as well as that, you've no problem with vignettes, and with the eye box being so forgiving, when the rifle's moving around a bit under recoil, you can maintain that excellent sight picture. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching that review. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell and keep track of the regular uploads. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.